Hi!
What's up? Welcome to the morning Geek Commutes. Well, we drive to work. We are geeky people who are commuting to work, and we give you stuff we're geeking out about, news and stuff.
Yeah. So we hit the go live button before we were completely ready, so there's that. Oh, so it's really cloudy today, so we're sorry if it were hard to see.
Yes.
But it rained really good last night, which is good because our area needs it.
Yeah, it does. So, all right. So, news. Celeste, you got anything on the front end?
Trying to remember. There are some restrictions being put in place in
The UAE, the United Arab Emirates.
UAE.
Yeah, and by restrictions, how to put this? So the government in the UAE, this is like Dubai and all that, they are putting social media influencers on basically a checklist. And so for you to be a social media influencer, and by that, there's several things, and I've read through the rules yesterday, and I don't have them all memorized, and I apologize, but stuff like, you know, like if you're running a store or through your stuff, then you're gonna fall into these rules. And basically, you have to be licensed. You have to be registered with the UAE, and it's like in American funds. I think that what the guy was saying, it was going to be about about $3,000 a year to register with the government as an influencer. Now, if you have your own personal stuff, like if it's just a normal website, normal blog, it's one thing. And so, but the UAE says that it's in order to encourage better content going out, but also to make sure these people who are putting out stuff are following by their moral code. They do, because in the UAE they do have their laws and they have their moral laws, and a lot of times their moral laws are more strict than their normal laws. So,
which is interesting.
Yep, that's a thing.
That's a thing. So for the geeks in the UAE, expect that to be coming down.
Yeah, and I think you have to register pretty quickly too.
Yeah.
If that's what you are. So it's pretty interesting.
I don't know if we have any followers in the UAE. I know we have some in, what was that?
India.
India? Yeah, we have some in India.
Mm-hmm.
So that would be considered, right?
Yeah.
No.
No.
Maybe.
Different area.
I don't know. I have a very, 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 very vague understanding of how the world fits together. So I know places are close to each other, but I don't understand. Like I'm like, oh, okay. It's just bad.
Right.
Okay. So what do you got?
We also have. So
that was some pretty lighting over there.
There was rumors of a standalone Dr. Doom movie, right?
Yes.
That Fox is putting out.
Excited.
Well,
I'm excited.
They put out a statement saying that there's some worry about it because Disney was going to be buying out 20th Century Fox's properties that belong to Marvel, and a couple other things. So people were worried that project was going to get shot, which I'm not sure why they worried about it, because the Fantastic Four properties were not doing good at all.
I think because they want the movie, so they were worried that Disney would come in and go, oh, this is a horrible idea.
Right. So that was a thing, but my brain's not functioning because I'm driving and being responsible. No, right. So they're worried about it being shut down. However, the people working on the scripts and the writing, they have confirmed they're pushing forward. They're going, as they should, until the merger's done, until the buyouts happen completely. They're going to do business as usual. So
until somebody says stop.
Exactly. So they're working on it. They've got it completed, and they're going
the script. They have the script completed.
Yeah, so they're going on to the next stage of things. So that's going to be interesting, to say the least. I'm curious to see what the script looks like. I'm wondering if it's going to want to be one of those things where, like, well, it's never going to get made anyways, so they just kind of slapped it together, or if they put a lot of work into it, or if this is a, hey, let's show them what we can do type of thing.
I hope it's a, hey, let's show them what we can do type of thing.
Right.
Because even if Disney goes, hey, we don't want to do that right now, there's been movies that have come out that their scripts were written years beforehand. And so it's one of those things of, even if they don't do it immediately, even if the merger goes through and Disney goes, no, we don't want to do Dr. Doom, they still have the opportunity to write a really good script that at some point
can be adapted
and put into movie.
Exactly. So, and to be honest, we see that happening. A lot of the Fox properties that are Marvel properties, they're banging it out. The Gifted,
yeah.
it was
awesome.
Fantastic. The writing in Legion, weird but fantastic.
Well, Legion's weird.
Yeah, and so I hope that they pull this off. I hope they pull off a good Doctor Doom movie. To be honest.
I'm trying to hold the camera steady, guys. Sorry.
All right. So in other news, Ben Affleck is rumored to still be wanting to play Batman in DCEU,
which I'm a fan of, just because I like
continuity. Yeah.
I like the continuity to stay the same.
Word. So I'm looking forward to it.
I know some people will not be though.
Yeah, I liked that Batman. I know that some people want me to turn in my geek card, but Batman v Superman, the extended edition, the original cut of the film that they should never just chopped out,
was
so much better. I mean, just so much better.
Yeah. If they had left it as is in the extended edition and released that, it would have been better. It's kind of like Days of Future Past. If they had left it with the road cut, everything would have made more sense.
Oh my goodness.
I got so confused in the theater watching this. Then when we watched it again with the road cut, I was like, oh, that's how she got there. That's how this happened. Like, they cut things that were not non-essential.
Right.
Like, it just, you needed them for the story to make sense.
Exactly. Which kind of brings me to a question for you guys. Why, you see these director cuts come out, why do you guys think that they chop stuff up so badly? And now, granted, sometimes you need to because the original cut is kind of weird, but more times than not, when I watch director cuts, and just clarify, when I buy DVDs and Blu-rays, I always get the director's cut.
If we can help it.
If we can help it, because I like to see the director's original vision. And sometimes it's weird, but more times than not, the story makes more sense, it flows better. And I get sometimes, hey, we're chopping for time, but at the same time, I mean, we live in a world where there are 2.5, 3 hour long movies, and you just don't need to chop it. I mean, sometimes the pacing is actually a little better because it's left in there.
Exactly.
So why do you think, Celeste?
I think it's strictly time, and I think the people who are cutting things out are not the people who were originally part of the original vision. I think they pull in different teams to do that, and so these people are going, okay, well, let's cut this out here, this conversation's not essential, let's get rid of that, that's redundant. And I understand the need for that, because you don't want redundancy, you don't want things that are not necessary, but at the same time, they don't understand the story, so sometimes it ends up really bad.
Right.
I feel like, at least in my experience, the worst has been Days of Future Past, because it just didn't make sense until you watched the director's edition or the road cut.
Same would be Superman.
Yeah.
Things just didn't make sense. Like, why is Superman acting this way? And then you realize, oh, it was a setup, and there's a whole court case going on in the background.
Yeah. Well, I think some of that was in there, but it wasn't as well fleshed out. So again, it was just very confusing and jumpy, and didn't make a lot of sense
at all.
So I feel like that it's partially because they put people on there that are not part of the original story team, so they don't cut what can be cut. They cut what they think can be cut. And it's not always the same thing.
It's weird. Well, Celeste, do we have any more geeky news or anything else we want to talk about? Jurassic Park 2 is the theme for this week's Geek Devotions coming out.
Which is, while I enjoyed that movie, it is my least favorite Jurassic Park that I've seen. I've only seen the first two, but it's my least favorite because they're trying to exploit the dinosaurs.
Oh man. So hey, we put up a couple articles this past week.
We did. We're trying to build up our WordPress a little bit more, get some more stuff into it. I've got a couple ideas of things bouncing around in my head. We're gonna have to do a book review on Warstorm. So, which, oh my gosh.
Right. We put up an article about dealing with failure.
Yeah.
That's gotten pretty well received.
We did not do a podcast this week because my birthday spilled over into the weekend, and we were just tired. Like, we got home Saturday night and I went to bed at 8. I could have gone to bed at 7.
Right.
But I had to put clothes in the laundry.
Yes.
And so then I was trying to stay awake for them to get to the laundry, get to the dryer, and it didn't happen.
Yeah, about that.
So there was no, hey, let's record the podcast. So we're really sorry, guys. Ooh, those guys' lights are bright.
Yep.
So
we'll have a podcast this weekend. So also check out the article that our friend did on Melchizedek.
that's not how it's supposed to work. Okay.
So
Yes.
it's a Christian manga.
So, and we are here. So that was your morning geek commute, guys.
Love you.
Love you.
Stay devoted.
Peace and love.